You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.
We're in the midst of moving here. We'll be moving from Riverside back to Orange County, closer to where I work. And let me tell you, what a hassle this is. The logistics of leaving one place and finding another are astronomical. There's so many details. The most important being, you have to find a place to move to. And nobody told me in the 6 years that I've lived here that going back to renting a place was almost like putting in a job application. They want to know who you are. They want all your information. We've written essays about ourselves. We've met with them personally. It's very complicated. So we have our fingers crossed. We have paperwork in on 2 or 3 different locations, and we would be happy to accept any of them at this point. But that being said, there may be a delay. Next week we should be okay. But the week after, there might be a delay in episodes simply because everything's going to still be in boxes and packed up and in transit. So you never know. You never know where life is going to take you. Like I assumed we'd be in one location, and we've looked at those locations, and now we're in different locations. Like, it's very strange. Nothing is settled until it's settled. So that's it's been challenging. Really, it's stressful. The whole process of selling this house and getting a new place to live has been so stressful. I didn't think it would be. I thought it would be a breeze. I had no idea the intrusion of all the workers fixing this house up, and then the different kind of intrusion of opening yourself up to try to get another place. But I guess the thing that's happened in the midst of all that is I don't have a lot of free time to sit and watch movies. We're on the go on my days off looking for places to live. So there's very little downtime. And when I crawl into bed at night, I used to watch movies there, but I've just been so exhausted I've gone right to sleep. I got a book at around Comic-Con, Ernest Cline's new book, Armada, the guy who wrote Ready Player One, and I thought I'd finish that in like a day or two. It took nearly a week because I'd start reading and I would just the book would fall on my face. I'm so exhausted, but here I sit because I enjoy doing these, and we're ramping up and leading up to Scare LA, so I got to keep in practice of doing these episodes. And what a strange thing it'll be to do a live episode in front of a bunch of people, because I've always said how bizarre I look doing a show. That show, I think that show's going to sound different because how I talk when I'm in front of an audience is different than how I talk when I'm just at the microphone here. I did an episode with Hendel and then with Jeff, and the thing I think that was so interesting is that a lot of times when I do the episode, my eyes are closed because, like I've said from the beginning, like I imagine that I'm talking to somebody. So doing the live one might be equal to that because there will be people there. There will be people to talk to. So if you're in the LA area, August 8 and 9, I think that's the dates. Yeah, 8 and 9. We'll be at Scare LA in Pasadena, the California's biggest horror convention, or is that horror? Halloween themed convention. And you can get a discount ticket for to attend using the 91 Reasons offer code Winona, which I didn't pick, by the way. People who listen to the show pick, so shows that they're paying attention, right? I thought that was pretty apropos. But not being able to watch a bunch of movies because, I'm overdue for my Coming to America episode, and I could probably sit and do that from memory, but I like to watch the movie and be fresh, because you're looking at it differently through a extremely critical eye when I'm watching it, as opposed to just being entertained by it. And I'm always entertained by that movie, so critical eye will be different, but not much, because in a movie's designed to entertain, it certainly does. But as you can tell by the title of this episode, we're going to delve back into my strange and tumultuous adolescence, where if you've just joined us, you should go back and listen to Drunks Part 1 before you delve into this. Only because I'm not going to go into the huge history of these characters that entered my life, but instead we'll just do like Cliff's Notes. We'll just gloss into them real quick. That being said, there came a time in the late 70s when my mother got a divorce from her second husband, which was my sister's father, Jerry. A reasonably nice guy. He had some issues. He was a raging alcoholic, which I guess is a pretty big issue when you're talking about marriage. But they just couldn't make it work. He was a drunk, and I didn't realize that until later in life. Like, he was a real drunk. Not only was he a drunk, but he had severe OCD, and I mean that's a lethal combination, folks. To be a sloppy drunk and horrified by anything out of place, you're constantly doing battle with yourself. And it really came to a head. The story my mother used to tell me was the night she realized she was going to divorce Jerry. There were two catalysts. The first was she was trying to eat dinner, and he finished before she did and cleaned up his plate, all the silverware and the cup. And then he came back to wipe the table down, and he was wiping around her plate. And she had to physically use her hands to push the plate down on the table and saying, "I am not finished yet. You are not cleaning here yet. Get out of here while I finish my dinner. I'm not going to clean up till I'm finished." And I don't know if I said it in the last episode, but the other catalyst for that divorce was he used to keep lists everywhere. To-do lists. He had to-do lists everywhere. Milk, eggs, bread. They always had milk, eggs, bread on them. That was like a Jerry Smith specialty. Milk, eggs, bread. Milk, eggs, bread. And going to the bank. We went to the bank a lot. This is back before ATMs, where you either wrote a check somewhere or you went to the bank to get cash. And we went to the bank, and he used one of those little capsules. He would write a check to himself to cash, and then he would go zoom into the bank, and then zoom, the cash would come out. We always thought that was cool. Like, when I was a kid, I thought that was magic. I thought, man, when I grow up, I'm going to come here. Because you drive up to a little tube, and cash comes out of it. Like, that's amazing. You don't even talk to anybody. Occasionally, he would pull up to the one that had a live person, because there were two lanes. The one closest to the bank had the live person. The one farthest out had the little capsule. And sometimes when he pulled up to the live person, he would ask for balloons or something for the kids. It was weird. A lot of companies in the 70s, if they dealt with customer service, had balloons. Like, my sister and I used to get balloons from everywhere. The bank, Jack in the Box. I think even like Sears and Montgomery Ward's, like at the register, they have a balloon, kid. Oh, thanks. A balloon. But on that to-do list that Jerry had, the one that said go to the bank, the one that said get milk and eggs and bread, on the bottom it said, remember to tell Jackie you love her. And that's when my mom realized, I got to get away from this guy. He has to remind himself to tell me he loves me, and he's got severe OCD. Oh, and he's a raging alcoholic. Yeah. Wow. Much later in life, after I grew up and got married and became a father, Jerry was around for a few years before he died, tragically. He had a heart attack, died. Really, like, there's only so much you can pile up on a person. And my poor sister, I mean, my mom died. And then in quick succession, my sister's stepmom died. Her new stepmom died, and then her dad died. Like all in a, like 4 or 5 in a row, we went to funerals. It was terrible. And I just remember sitting with her one time going, well, there's not much more death that can be thrown at us, unless it's tragedy from younger people. But much later, dealing with Jerry, he became a pretty good friend. We didn't have any relation. He wasn't my father. My mom was dead, and he just was around at family functions. And, I never had a problem with Jerry. There was a funny moment where I had to pick him up one night and drive him back to his hotel room. He was having some sort of issue, but he was just really funny. And the thing with Jerry, like, even though I wasn't his kid, he was always very proud of my accomplishments. And that was very complimentary, because I wasn't getting any accolades from Don Berg, and you'll hear about him later in the show. But Jerry was always very complimentary, I heard you wrote a show, Jeff. I did. Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Oh, sometimes that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Jerry was one of those guys where after he sobered up and got his life together, I guess one of the 12 steps is to make amends with everybody. And so he did. And that was interesting. But there were times where he would take us, Jerry loved coffee, going to Winchell's, and we'd go to the AA. There was that AA like meeting hall in Norwalk with all the bumper stickers, one day at a time, easy does it, that sort of thing. But yeah, after my mom divorced Jerry, she went back to Tennessee and hooked up with her high school boyfriend. Now, you've heard this story before. She found him behind a grocery store, living basically in a dumpster. He was eking out an existence like all drunks and bums do, behind the grocery store, recycling cans and bottles. Him and his friends lived down by the river. And when she decided that she loved him because they were never, far from each other's hearts after high school, she decided to bring him back to California along with at least 10 or 11 of his drunk river friends who decided to see what California was all about. And we had all these people living in our house. And I've talked about all the different characters that lived in and around the house and caused mayhem and crapped their pants and rolled cigarettes and taught me all the lingo of alcohol, spider, cathead, that sort of thing. Check out the first episode for like a whole laundry list of insane things that they put me through. But we're going to continue because you know what? There's even more. Because after that episode, I sat down with my brother and sister, and they helped me put together some more stories. So we have my brother Jim and my sister Jennifer to thank for the continuation of the Drunks and the Don Berg stories. So, like, it's hard to believe that there's more of this nonsense to even tell. Like, if you just heard the first episode, that would be enough. Like, what more could there be? And yet there is. So, I've said before how my mom was very involved in the church. Like, we went to church not only on Sunday, we went Thursday night for choir practice. She was the church treasurer. We were there for every fundraiser, every charity event, every social, every dance, every cakewalk. Yes, I really was in a cakewalk. One time they even pulled all of their RVs in the back, and we lived at church for like a weekend. It was called Camp Nearby, and we all lived there, and we had a fire, and we told stories. Like, church was the center of my mother's world, church and the Masonic Lodge Eastern Star. And at a lot of those events, you had to bring a dish for either a potluck or a sale of sorts. For a bake sale, my mother made this amazing chocolate cake. And the thing that was interesting about it is that she made it in a cookie sheet. really thin cookie sheet. So she would make this enormous chocolate cake in a cookie sheet with thick chocolate icing. And then for a bake sale, you'd get 50 or 60 slices out of it. So at 25 cents a slice, you do the math, she was helping the church clean up. And when she made that for the house, that cake would last at least a week. Which, I mean, when you're talking about a house full of 15, 16 people, that's a pretty long time for a cake to last. And my sister and I liked it best after it had been baked, cut, and then put in the refrigerator. Because something about it being cold, it was so good. And like, you know how certain smells and tastes can transport you back to another time. Like, thinking about that chocolate cake, I can taste it. I've not eaten it in 25 years or longer, and I can taste it like it's right in front of me. I remember when Roger Ebert had his surgery and lost his mouth and his ability to eat except through a tube. They asked him what he missed most. He said he missed root beer because it reminded him of his father, and that chocolate cake reminds me of my mom with that thick, almost fudge-like icing. Like, I have no idea where the recipe went. It's one of those tragedies lost to the ages where, again, somebody dies and you didn't have the forethought to have a conversation with them. And I mean, yes, tell me about my crazy father and how you guys did this and this and this. But, oh, by the way, Mom, can I have that chocolate cake recipe? Right? Well, the other thing they used to make was this dish called pimento cheese. Now, I never ate it. I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't eat it today. But it was some sort of spread where you mixed some cheese and, pimento, the little red pimento, the thing that comes inside olives. Like, you can buy them just a jar of pimento. I always would laugh thinking there's somewhere somebody plucking them out of olives. But it's the opposite is true, right? Somebody's putting them in olives. But they would make this gigantic bowl of pimento cheese and potato salad and macaroni salad. And they would present it at these events, and they were always huge hits. My mother's Southern cooking was prized at the church events. Now, they would, the bowl would come home empty. There were never any leftovers. Now, what the people at church didn't know, and I only know this because I tried to explain one time at an event, my mother told me to shut up, that they would make it in a big bowl, and Roger Dole Rogers, the leader of the drunks, would mix it by hand. Not with a spoon, by hand. His giant Sin City Marv hands would knead the pimento cheese and the macaroni and the potato salad with the mayonnaise, and I'd watch him do that, and it was maybe the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Listen, I know he probably washed his hands. He had to, right? Out of pure humanity, he had to wash his hands. But I can picture that as if it was yesterday. Him standing there with his bloodshot eyes, his bottle of Gallo port wine, ready and waiting when he's done, and him kneading it like some sort of European Dark Ages cook underneath the king's court. Like, we've got spoons for that, dude. Forget spoons. We've got rubber gloves. So, I never ate it. I'm not a potato salad, macaroni salad, pimento cheese. I'm not like a picnic guy. Like, I know that there's a vibe in that. Like, let's go have a picnic. I'm not a picnic guy. I'm a sci-fi nerd, and we eat indoors on tables. I have no desire to eat on the ground. 2 slices of bread with pimento cheese. Oh, no. Forget about how it was made. It's not my thing, I know potato salad, macaroni salad. I never got into that, and I think it has a lot to do with watching it get made. Like, I was never going to eat that, and I never have. No, thank you. But the people at church never found out. Never found out how it was made. All right, so you've heard about that. You've heard about all the things the drunks did, stealing doors, falling into rock quarries. He was a drunk. I've said that about 10,000 times. Roger and his friends were all massive drunks. And the thing with the drunks, if you've ever been unlucky enough to have to live with a drunk, the hardest thing to deal with is you never know who you're going to get. You never know if you're going to get happy drunk guy or if you're going to get completely irate drunk guy. And most drunks have a whole gamut. You know, you hear somebody go, oh, he's an angry drunk. But somewhere in there, there's that magic moment where they're just happy drunks. In high school, I had a friend who drank all the time. He got depressed when he got drunk. But Roger had all these, rainbow of drunk emotions. But, brother, when he got angry, when he got mad, it wasn't an argument. You weren't going to win an argument with him. It was an abuse. You were going to get abused. And when he was right, he was right. When he washed my hair with Pine Sol, as I described in the other episode, that was going to happen. You weren't going to argue your way out of it. Now, he was born probably, 41 or 42. So by 1980, 81, he's either 39, 40, 41. Like, I look at myself at age 43, and maybe it's the distortion of how we see ourselves. But to me, Roger was like a terrible old person, even though he's 39, 40. Like, he was a mountain of a man. Disfigured from fighting, bloated from being drunk, hardened from going to Vietnam. Not a nice person to be around. And when you were in his crosshairs, bad stuff was going to happen to you. And I just remember again thinking, A, you can't argue with him, and B, you don't sometimes even know what the argument is. One time, he came home from whatever he was, probably the bar. The bar was close enough to walk. And it wasn't like you were stumbling down the street drunk. We actually lived with an alley. You could take the alley almost directly to the shopping center where the bar was. So you were only exposed for a few hundred yards before you got into the bar. You could go from the bar, parking lot, alley. Once you hit the alley, no one was going to bother you. The cops weren't going to see you. So who knows where he was, where he came in from. But my mother was tired of waiting for him. Now, my mother had these rituals. Every mom has rituals. My mother had this ritual of making herself dinner. She would make sure me and my sister were fed, and then she'd sit down and make herself a dinner, whatever it was. When I'm in the grocery store, sometimes I'll see Cornish game hens, and those just make me feel happy. Because my mother used to buy those for me. She would bake them in the oven for me and serve me the entire Cornish game hen like it was a miniature chicken. And I'd give it back bones. Like the thing in Beastmaster that folds up, rattles around, and then opens up and it's just bones. That's what I did to that Cornish game hen, right? So she took good care of me and my sister. So the drunks aren't home. Roger Dole Rogers is not home. So I remember exactly, she made herself a steak. My mother was very into steak. She'd like steak, either a baked potato, or that potato salad that she'd make and keep in the fridge until, got finished off. And, pickles on the side. My mother always put pickles on the side of her plate. And so the drunk comes in and just picks a fight with her. Now, the thing that Roger had a problem with, and I mentioned his age and what era he grew up in. If Roger didn't have a fight, like a specific infraction to fight with you about, he would just go through his catalog of things that upset him. And one of the things that bothered him was the women's liberation movement. He had a real problem with women entering the workforce, getting equal pay, burning their bras, and basically saying we're just as important as men. Now, my mom wasn't a feminist, My mom worked hard for a living. She worked hard so those drunks could have drinks to get drunk on. But the fact that she was the breadwinner never sat well with him. And when he got angry, he always went to arguing about women's liberation. Women's lib, he'd call it. And he came in, and we watched as he just picked a fight with her. An angry, mean fight over nothing. She's just sitting there eating her dinner. And you know what he did? He opened the side window, he picked up her plate, and he threw it out the window where it smashed against a brick wall. Like, I'll never forget that moment of him picking up that food because she wasn't arguing with him. She was eating, and it drove him insane. So he threw it out the window, screaming about women's lib like it was just terrifying. Because I didn't understand what he was yelling about. As a kid, I had no concept of that. So I was just watching this man berate my mother, screaming about her friends. She had friends, June and Janet. He'd go, oh, June and Janet, telling you about women's lib. And I'm like, what's going on? And it ended up with that steak flying across the room and out the window. Like, that's crazy. For most women, you get up and you leave at that point. The problem is, in that relationship, it's her house, her money. What are you supposed to do? He's not going to go anywhere. He can't. So she was stuck with him. Stuck with him until a few years later when we managed to get him packed up and out for good. And for good means he died. And we had a vested interest in getting rid of him. Because not only was he picking fights with my mother and stuff, he used to do terrible things to us. And it wasn't like we weren't sexually abused, we weren't molested, but we were in that weird gray area of, since you don't know what kind of drunk you're going to get, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to behave because it doesn't matter your behavior. They're going to enact upon you at any given moment for any reason, good or bad. So you can't prepare for it. It's the same issue I had with Berg, dealing with that kind of insanity. So Roger did two things to the children, me and my sister both, and sometimes to my friends that came over. And once it happened, they didn't come back. He liked to grab you, and he would lay down and grasp one of your arms with his, and your other arm was behind his back, so you were completely helpless, and the Tennessee claw would tickle you, which sounds, harmless, but it was not fun. Like, it wasn't done in a playful manner. It was done like, I can't smack you around because you're going to school, and you can't go to school with bruises, but I'm going to go ahead and do this to you. So we didn't like the Tennessee claw gonna get you. Widow. We go, oh God. But even then, like, you could deal with it because you were awake. Here he comes. Oh Christ, there it comes. But he used to do something called, he would lean on you. He would lean on you. Have you any idea what that means? No, I wouldn't know unless it actually happened to me. We had so many people in our house that the living room was the couch pulled out into a bed by necessity. My room had bunk beds. My sister's room was the only one that was off limits. She had a single bed to herself. I had bunk beds. I had drunks sleeping on the top bunk. Sometimes I'd come in, there'd be a drunk on each bunk. Man, that sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. I should write that. A drunk on each bunk. There's a drunk on each bunk, he thunk. Oh no, we're sunk. So sometimes I'd have to sleep in the living room, which terrified me. Because the leaning thing, like, you couldn't prepare for it. What he would do is, during the summer, we would sleep in. Now, during school days, we were up early. My mother had to get us to school by like 7:45. So we were up early, had our crunchy toast, and out the door. But during the summer, my mother went to work and left us, and we were alone with the drunks who didn't always have jobs. But what he would do is if he didn't feel like you were going to get up in a reasonable time, like he wanted to get you up and out, he would simply lie down next to you in the bed and then roll over on top of you. Now, this is a big man. So you would wake up crushed. You couldn't move. He was too strong. I was a little kid. He would just lean on you, and he'd have a whole conversation with somebody while you were trapped under him. Like, when I think about it, I get quick of breath. Like I can take in the breath because I remember it like so vividly. Like, I'm gonna die. This guy won't get off me. And you'd have to like make a deal with him to get off you. Okay, I'll go do the dishes. I'll rake. Whatever it is, get off of me. He did it to me. He did it to my sister. He did the claw with my friends. The claw you could deal with. That was stupid. But the leaning thing, like, that was truly terrifying. And you'd go to bed at night going, please let him not do that to me tonight. I mean, in the morning. Let me get up before him. It didn't occur to me to get an alarm clock. I mean, I was just a kid. But let me get up, get cleaned up before he awakes. And a lot of time we did. It didn't happen all the time. But there were times, especially if there was a good movie on, like I'd stay up till all hours of the night watching Carson and then Letterman and then movies, like anything. I mean, it's the summer. You're supposed to stay up late. But man, that lean on you thing, that was a killer. Not pleasant. So, hope I'm not terrifying you with this. All right. So, the greatest thing the drunks ever did, and by greatest I mean worst and most awful. The greatest thing the drunks ever did was, my mother recognized pretty early on that I was pretty intelligent. I got good grades. I got high scores. I was tested for a lot of advanced programs. I was put into GATE, which is Gifted and Talented Education, where 1 week every quarter you went to another school and you were only with really smart kids, and you did stuff that only smart kids understood, like bizarre role-playing and complicated science projects, stuff that if you did it in a regular classroom, a lot of the kids would be like, I don't understand this. But at GATE, everybody got it. Mr. Grandpre, Miss Fallon, they were great teachers. So my mother recognized that I was her only option for, like, graduating with honors. I mean, at this point, my sister is pretty young. No one would know that my sister would run into boy problems and get her life derailed. Thankfully, she got it back. My sister's doing great, and I couldn't be prouder of her. But at a young age, a guy came to the door selling encyclopedias. Now, this is, there was no Google. There was no internet. Encyclopedias were in your house, and that's how you did research. Other than most normal people went to the library. My mother recognized in me a spark for learning, so she bought the encyclopedia set. And at the time, this is probably 80, 81, it was very expensive. I think she paid between $1,500 and $2,000 for that encyclopedia set. How do I know it was expensive? It came with a free shelf to put it on. A really nice shelf, which they wouldn't have given you unless the book thing was quite expensive. So I had a really amazing set of encyclopedias. And I know that because I would occasionally use them for regular school, for looking up things. But I mostly used them for when I went to GATE, because GATE required much more extensive research and more complicated projects. So that encyclopedia set just became like the most important thing to me. Now, what I didn't know, what my brother had to remind me, was there were days where I'd come in and the books were gone. Gone. The shelf empty. Where were they, you ask? Well, Roger Dole Rogers and Terry or Dale, one of the two idiots, they went down to the bar. They put the encyclopedia into boxes, loaded up in the car, and drove down to the bar. And you know what they would do? They would sell my encyclopedias to somebody. They'd find some guy, they go, hey, you got kids? Yeah, I got kids. Yeah, this is the greatest thing for education. Big Encyclopedia Britannica set. Oh my God, that's a beautiful set. Beautiful brown binding with gold. Oh, beautiful. Well, I'll tell you what, we don't need them anymore, so we're selling them. Normally these are $1,500 to $2,000, but tonight, if you want them, $250. Maybe they started at $300. Yeah, I don't know, $300. This is back when minimum wage was about, $2.50. $2.50 an hour, minimum wage. All right, $250. That's a deal, man. Let me go get the money. So the guy goes and gets the money, comes back, gives the money to the drunks. They take the encyclopedias and they take them out of the car and they load them into the guy's car. He has purchased my encyclopedias for $250. So what's left to do but go inside and have a drink? Congratulations, they toast. Hey, all right, here's to higher learning. Yeah, my kids are going to love those. And what do? They get the guy blind, stinking drunk. This was calculated. And once he's drunk and incapacitated, they go out to the parking lot and they steal the books back. And they take them back to their car and they drive off. They did this scam arguably 10 or 12 times. They sold my encyclopedias 10 or 12 times. Who knows how much? Maybe they got $50. Maybe other nights they saw the guy who was loaded got $200 or $300. But they always got him drunk and they always stole it back, and the next morning those books were back on the shelf. You imagine? I mean, that's straight out of a grifter movie. I mean, that's Paper Moon, but with nothing cute. It's just drunks preying on other drunks. Oh my God. It is a miracle my sister and I survived that. Like that kind of insanity. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. So when we finally got all those drunks on the bus and my encyclopedias were safe, I couldn't have felt better when we had our mom. Like, I've gone through that. You've heard that story. It's in the other episode. And so after the drunks came Don Berg himself. Oh, yeah, it's funny. I mean, the fallout from that episode, that's the most popular episode on the feed. That and the Panties episode. Like, that's amazing to me. I do all these movie reviews, but those are the ones that resonate with people. And I couldn't be happier. I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted people to hear my story or stories and go, oh my God. And it's funny that the man that was Satan, Hitler in my life, Don Berg, has become like, when I see people like, oh man, do the voice. Do Don Berg's voice. I go, oh, come on, I don't want to do Don Berg's voice. And then they go, oh my God. I go, well, that's exactly how he sounded. Don freaking Berg. Don was crazy. But he wasn't a drunk. He would get drunk occasionally, but he wasn't a drunk. He was a calculated, angry person. A calculating, angry jerk. So, again, I talked to my siblings, and I got some more Berg stories for you. You're not going to believe them. Like, they're so insane as to not be believed, right? So, I talked how Berg came into our lives and how he wined and dined my mother. But like I said, you always have to pay for that. Nothing comes for free. Nothing comes for free. So, when he took my mom to on one of those trips somewhere, I don't remember which one it was, the keys to his truck were left behind. And I had just learned how to drive. So I remember driving his truck around, not thinking anything about it because I was a good driver. But something came up where we had to go get something. Me and my brother were told, take the truck and go get something. So we take the truck, and when we get it, it's some big shelf or something. I don't remember exactly. But it needed to be secured to the truck. So around, the truck had one of those rigs on the back, like a metal rig for securing things that's above and beyond what the truck is. It's a special thing. You put it on top. And there was rope there. So we took the rope, we put the item in, we wrapped the rope around, we drove home. When we get home, he's livid with us. I know I started off that he was on a trip, but I've switched gears. Welcome to my life. But I just remember he got so angry with us because he told us, well, you should have used the rope. Like, well, we needed the rope because it had to be secured, but the rope was holding the rig to the truck. I go, wait, that's supposed to be bolted to the truck. Yeah, oh yeah. What, you didn't bolt it to the truck? No. What'd you do? It's tied with the rope. You used the rope, you took the rope, and the thing slid, now the paint's all... I said, wait a minute. You bought this fancy metal thing for your truck so you could haul more stuff, and you secured it to the truck with, like, twine? Oh, yeah. And this is somehow my fault. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that's the dumbest thing. Oh, no. Then the fight ensues. That's Berg, man. Berg in a nutshell. Cheap, crazy, and irrational in every manner that you can think of. He had property in Bellflower. He was basically a slumlord. Like, he had this weird thing. You've seen him where you drive by and there's a like house, and then like a fake street that goes all the way back to the other street, and there are these little houses lined up. It's like a remnant from before the city had proper planning. So Berg bought this piece of property, had 5 or 6 really like cabins on it, and he would rent these to people to live in. Now, he was living there before he moved in with us, and it was like living like third world. I remember going to visit one time and thinking, like, who would live like this? There's mud everywhere. The houses aren't like complete. Oh my God, we got to get out of here. He was like a slumlord. He'd charge people a couple $100 to live in these places. Now, I talked in the other episode about how he used to get food out of trash cans. Oh, I brought some stuff home. Like, I'm not eating any of that. That came out of the trash. Oh, it's still good. Just the date. You just gotta rub off the date. I go, so if you rub off the date, suddenly it magically doesn't really affect the food? Oh, yeah. No. No. Well, if you get hungry enough, you're gonna have it. Because I'm not buying anything else. I work. I'm going to McDonald's. Oh, waste the money on that fast food. I got all this bread. That bread was thrown into the trash for a reason. It's way beyond its sell-by date. Oh, well, that's good for you. It's good for you, huh? There used to be a brand of ice cream called Rondos. They were little bite-sized pieces of ice cream covered in chocolate. Like Dibs. Like before Dibs, there were Rondos. And there was a guy that he knew that lived in his property. They used to get Berg cases of Rondos. We don't know where he got them from. Again, the logistics of getting old ice cream from a store to your house without it turning into a puddle is beyond me. But Berg managed to do it every single time. I got the Rondos. So we used to call that guy the Rondo Man. Oh, Berg visited the Rondo Man. Oh, yeah, got the Rondos. Got ice cream. So the ice cream would be in the freezer. Now, again, I'm not eating it. I don't know. Like, it's dairy, for goodness sake. Dairy has a date for a reason, Berg. So you don't get sick. No, that's just a suggestion. Those dates are just suggestions. You don't think you can eat it if you want. You can have my share. So one day on his property, there's a fire. And the Rondo Man died. He burned up in his Berg slum house. Now, I don't know what the legal fallout from that was. Like, I was too young to care, but there must have been some weirdness with, like, the guy, like, he was smoking or something, lit himself on fire. The other story was that he pissed somebody off and he was burned out of retribution. I don't know. All I know is, like, we were expecting Berg to come home upset.
My mother's like, Donald, are you okay? So-and-so died. We didn't, we knew him as the Rondo Man. The Rondo Man died. Oh, yeah. We won't get the Rondos anymore. Like, that's it? Yeah. Like, your tenant dies. He burns up. Quite possibly the most horrific way a person can die. And you have no emotion. Well, yeah. You're upset. Oh, yeah. Why are you upset? Well, it's not going to be no more ice cream. Oh, my God. Like, there were moments, like, with that, you'd go, we're living with a crazy man. He's a sociopath. He has no human emotions. He's like if you cross the Terminator with an a-hole. Dun, 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 da-da-da, da-da-da. The Rondo Man, right? He would, I've talked in the other episode how Berg would just argue with me about everything. You can imagine my bedroom circa 1986. Everything was Back to the Future. I had every poster, every standee, the movie, everything. Buttons, you name it. So one day, Berg's telling me about how Hollywood works. Oh, yeah, everybody in Hollywood's Jewish. Really, Don? Everybody's Jewish? Oh, yeah, all the Jews are in Hollywood. I'm like, so, in addition to being an a-hole, you're an anti-Semite. No, they're good people. Everybody in Hollywood's a Jew. So if you're thinking of becoming a big movie star, you gotta convert. So I have to be Jewish. Yeah. Why? Because everybody's Jewish. Well, not everybody's Jewish. Oh yeah, they're all Jewish. Like Steven Spielberg. Like he just rattled off all these names. So I was like, okay, everybody. I said Michael J. Fox isn't Jewish. Oh yeah, he thought he's Jewish. No. He's from Canada. He's a Canadian Jew. I was like, I gotta go. What am I doing with this guy? He's crazy. But like every interaction with him was a fight. My absolute favorite was, my sister reminded me of this. I'm not even sure how I blocked it out because it was my favorite. I talked about how late in the relationship, I would argue nonsense with him. And that's the only way you could win, is just argue nonsense with him. He couldn't combat nonsense because it didn't compute, right? So before that, like I would argue with him. Now, I learned fairly early on with Berg, you have to keep everything in your bedroom. If you leave anything out, he just takes it. And he's not stealing because he actually feels he's entitled to it. He's entitled to it. So, like, example, if you have a bottle of shampoo, you leave it in the shower, he's going to use it all on purpose before he uses his own. Where the shampoo go, oh, I used it. It was in the shower. Yeah, but that was my shampoo. Oh, it's a community shampoo. Oh, it's community. Thanks. So I had one of those totes, like a cleaning woman's totes, like a cleaning person's totes, where I would have like the toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, shaving cream, razors, all that in, and I would the tote would be in my bedroom. I'd pick it up, like living in a dormitory. But it was my house, but it was a dormitory. Take the thing to the bathroom, use it, go back. It's the only way to keep what you wanted. Otherwise, he would use it on purpose. And he would wait for you to go to the bathroom, and he would intercept you before you got there. Like, this is the most bizarre human behavior I've ever encountered. Crazy, crazy behavior. He would wait till you had to go to the bathroom, and then he would be at the bathroom blocking the way in. Like a sixth sense for poop. Oh, yeah, you go to the bathroom? Yeah, could you excuse me? Oh, I just want to let you know, 6. I'm sorry, what? 6. 6 minutes? No, 6 squares. I'm not getting it. 6 squares of what? When you go in there, you get 6 squares of toilet paper. Count off 6 squares. That's all you need. Okay, wait a minute. You are now governing how much toilet paper we use? Oh, yeah. You only need more than 6. You're not going in with me. So you can't possibly know how much I'm going to need. Oh, no, 6. Wait. 6 squares of toilet paper. Do you know how little that is? Well, yeah, you use one side, then you fold it over, and you use the other side. You're not serious. Oh, yeah. 6 squares. I'm not doing that. Well, you gotta do it. That's how you do it. Here's what you go on there, you do your business, 6 squares, use it, fold it over, then use it again. What if I'm still dirty? Then you get in the shower. Oh my God. You're turning this into a thing. Well, this is the way it's going to be. So, of course, what did I do? I bought my own toilet paper. So now the caddy has all that stuff and a roll of toilet paper. And he would follow me. Still, what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. You have no control over me. I bought all this stuff. This is my stuff. You know? At age 17, I'm already buying my own toilet paper so that you have no control over me. 6 squares. Do it at home, folks. Do it at home. Put me on pause. Go pull off 6 squares of toilet paper and see how little we're talking about like rationing the likes of which we haven't seen since like prison or a concentration camp. Absolute craziness. But that's what he did. He would pick fights. I mean, washing hands in the kitchen sink became a World War III. Where to park your car became a daily struggle. Like stuff that you just normally would just take for granted. He would blow up into epic proportions. Now, Berg had kids. I talked about that because he gave them that ultimatum about they could have Christmas presents or they could have a television, and they picked a television. So under the tree, there was nothing that year for them but a television that he ended up watching. So I can't imagine like what it was like growing up having that man as like for me he was, you know, commandante that I avoided. I just got to keep away from this guy. For them, like he's dad. God help us, he's dad. But that was not my problem. And listen, I got my own problems, okay? I got my own issues. But he had a daughter. Her name was Debbie. Or is Debbie, I don't know. And Debbie lived with us for a while. Debbie had this. Debbie was a full-figured woman, and she liked to walk around in just underwear. Now, you'd think for a 16, 17-year-old boy, you'd be all about that. But it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant to be around or to look at. I was not like, yeah. I was like, no. I was like, she's going to need more than 6 squares. But one time, so Debbie moves out. And gets her own place. So Berg decides he's going to buy us a new refrigerator. Hey, good for him. That's great. Because we ended up getting one with like the little ice and the water thing on the door. I'd never had that as a young child. I had it as a teenager, and that was great. I was constantly using that. What a great idea. But it's not so easy with Dawn. Not so easy with Dawn. Because when you give the refrigerator to Debbie, it must be delivered in showroom condition. Which I thought was weird because A, it was free. We're giving it to her free. And B, it's a used refrigerator. But there was me and my sister. We were there, and it took us about 4 hours. For 4 hours, my sister and I cleaned this refrigerator. Every stain, every drop, every drip, everything, every blemish, until it was spick and span. I just remember that being such an ordeal. I mean, it sounds silly, like, well, so what, Jeff? They made you clean a refrigerator. But it wasn't just cleaning a refrigerator. It was like him standing there for 4 hours. Oh, yeah, you only got that too? And that one? Like, this refrigerator we're giving to her is free. Oh, it's gotta look good though. Gotta be good. Like, everything you own is covered in dirt and stain and misery. Yet this refrigerator, I was like, Mom, he's only making us do this because he can. There's no need for this. We don't need to clean this. Just, you're doing it for me, Jeffrey. You're cleaning it I know I'm cleaning it for Debbie. For Debbie, I'd throw it off a cliff. I don't care about Debbie. I don't give a crap if it's clean or dirty for her. She's going to mess it up with her crap anyways. Just clean just for me, Jeffrey, okay? It's just for me. Yeah, sure it is, Ma. Oh, yeah, you're going to clean it. Keep going over there. There's some rondo stains. Yeah, great. Thanks, Don. I'll never forget having to clean that. Isn't that stupid what your brain retains? The 4 hours cleaning that refrigerator 30-something years ago or 30 years ago. It's crazy. But that's what happens when you grow up, right? You retain all this useless information. Imagine what I could do if I could find a way to zap all of the superfluous stuff out of my brain, only keep the good stuff. You know? Like my external hard drive, I'm constantly trying to maximize its storage potential. If I could do that to my brain, what I could accomplish. The mind reels what I could do if I could just jettison not only the 4 hours cleaning the refrigerator, but like the entire plot to Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. You know, like just worthless information. Or all the episodes of the new Gidget I have in my head. Like, who does this? Well, that would be me. Oh yeah, it's because you're not very talented. Thank you, Don. What are you doing here? Oh, I just talked to us. I've been listening to your podcast. Oh, you've been listening to my podcast? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. You know what a podcast is? Well, you know, they put it on the phone. I got a smartphone. Oh, you got a smartphone? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I got a smartphone. I play Candy Crush. I pretend they're rondos. Enough with the rondos. Oh, yeah. I said, that poor guy died. Oh, yeah. No more rondos. You have no feeling. You are an unfeeling man, Don. This is what you are. Oh, yeah. You have no problem with that. Nope. No. That's just the way I am. Oh, my God. Well, you're here on the show. Anything you want to say? Well, the picture that you paint of me is not accurate. Oh, it's not? No, I was a tough but fair father to you. You were not my father. No, I know that. I know that. I listened to your dad episode. I know who your dad is. So you're listening to past episodes. Oh, yeah. So what were you doing? How do you treat people like that? Well, kids have to be taught right from wrong. You weren't teaching me right from wrong. You were teaching me hate from love. Because you're just hate. No. You did all that stuff in high school. Yeah. The drama club and the plays and you're good. You write the shows. Well, if I did so many great things, why were you so difficult on me? So hard. Why was life so hard? You picked fights every day. Well, that's just to make a strong man. Oh, if that's what builds character, a character am I, Mr. Berg. Oh, yeah. I mean, Lord, I told you not to do the things that you do. You gotta do them. You're not even, now you're just doing catchphrases. You're just doing your Berg catchphrases. Oh, yeah. Will you quit saying, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. You said it again. Well, do the catchphrase. Hello. Yaki bird. Say hello. Yeah, the bird fight. That's perfect. The other episode, I recounted how you accused me of releasing your parrot back into the wild. Yeah, oh yeah. But I didn't do it. No, I don't do it. But after 3 hours of fighting, you didn't even apologize to me. No. Why not? Well, you don't have to apologize to children. Kids just do what you tell them to do. You all apologize to them. Oh, you don't? No. So you have the ability to treat a child, in this case, 16, 17-year-old child, any way you want. Oh, yeah, you're not an adult. I'm not going to deal with you on an adult level. You're just a kid. Oh, I'm just a kid, huh? Well, you were. Now you're old, got gray hair. Thank you for pointing that out. You're still firing on all cylinders, Don. Oh, yeah. There you go again with the oh, yeah. That's all you do. That's all you do. Well, you know what I'm going to do on the show next? No, I don't know what you're going to do. Probably screw it up the way you always do. Really? Hey, you're on the show? You're just making fun of me? Oh, yeah. There it is, the oh, yeah again. I don't understand, Don. Well, you're going to tell some story about me, and I embellish it with that fake voice you do of me. No, that voice is exactly how you sound. See, now your hearing aid's going off. Hold on, I got You know what story I'm going to tell, don't you? You told me what you're going to do on the show. That's why I came down. Yeah. I'm going to tell about how you and my mom used to drive cross-country all the time to Chattanooga and back. And you would have you drove a camper. No, it was a dolphin. Yeah, a dolphin. Like, how am I going to explain what a dolphin is? Well, it was like a truck with the camper shell, but it wasn't a camper shell. It was one piece. So it was a camper shell one piece, like an ugly conglomeration of a truck and a camper shell that cannot be separated. Oh yeah, like that, yeah. So you're driving this thing cross country. Now, I don't remember if I talked about the driving rules that you have. Oh yeah, I got the rules now. What, Don, please, now, since you're here today, tell us what are the rules of driving cross country with you. Well, the first rule is you don't ever stop for food. You don't stop for food. No, you just pack food. You pack food, like a couple sandwiches and some soda. So you put that in like a cooler. Yeah, a cooler. Yeah, that's what I said, a cooler. No, I said a cooler. Okay, you said a cooler. See, now you're confusing me. So, but driving to Tennessee takes 2 to 3 days. Like, you have to rest at some point. Oh, yeah, you got to rest. So you pack the food, and when the food's gone, you have sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds. Yeah, oh, yeah. So you just eat sunflower seeds from Oklahoma to Tennessee. Oh, pretty much. I mean, that's really all you did. Eat when you get there. You know, I don't like to stop for food. Okay, so you're driving with my mom cross country. She's in the back of the Dolphin RV, and you pull in for gas in Arkansas. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, I know this story. Go ahead. You're going to tell it anyways. I'm going to tell it anyways whether you like it or not. So you pull in for gas. My mom gets out of the truck because she doesn't have to live by your rules. She's got her own money from working her own job. So she goes into the truck stop, the Stuckey's, the AM/PM, the Handy Andy, whatever it is. And my mother had a thing. She liked fountain Cokes. If there was a choice between a soda in a can or a bottle or in a cup with ice, she always picked the cup with ice. I like the fountain drinks best. Oh, my mom's here too. Yeah, I like the fountain drinks the best. I know you did, Ma. So you just said on the show. So she goes in to get the fountain drink and food. Like, she's going to get food, even though you've resigned yourself to just sunflower seeds. Well, that's really all you need is the sunflower seeds. You don't need more than that, because you just got to drive and eat. You're going to get there faster because you're going to hungry. Wait a minute. You're deliberately making yourself hungry so you'll get there faster. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we're not talking like an hour. This is like 2 or 3 days. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're pumping the gas. She's going to get something to eat. And then what happens? Well, you're going to tell. You know what? I got in the car, and your mom got in the truck, and she went to sleep above the camper. Not the cab. So you get in the car, and you assume she's in the Dolphin vehicle already, in the little cubby hole above the cab, asleep. Yeah. So what do? Well, I got back on the freeway, back on the highway, the interstate. So you just drive off. So my mom, with Coke and hot dog in hand, comes out of the convenience store in Arkansas in the middle of nowhere, and Berg is gone. He has driven off without her. Now, this is 1991 or 92. There are no cell phones. They only exist for doctors and drug dealers, or doctors who deal in drugs. You know what I'm saying? So she's just there. Now, Berg's on the freeway. Oh, yeah, driving down the freeway. So you're driving down the freeway. Oh, yeah, like 80, 90 miles an hour. For how long? I don't know. Well, I know how long. My mom sat at that convenience center, that store, for 3 to 4 hours before they managed to track you down. So what happened, Berg? Well, driving, and I got pulled over by the highway patrol. So the highway patrol pulled you over, which is odd for you, because, I mean, you don't break the law. No, I don't break the law. I don't like the speed. Well, you just said you were going 90. Well, on the highway, that's different. Yeah, for you, the rules are always different, aren't they, Don? Yeah, well, at least you mention it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So the cop pulls you over. He walks up to the window, and instead of saying license and registration, he goes, "Are you Donald Alfred Berg?" And you go, "What do you go?" "Oh, yeah, that's me." And the cop goes, "Well, you're traveling cross country with Jackie, right?" "Oh, yeah." "Where's Jackie?" "Well, Jackie's asleep in the back." No, she's not, sir. I just heard on the radio she's at a convenience store back in Arkansas. So maybe we want to check the truck. She's in the back of the truck right here. So Don, you go in the back of the truck, open it up, and what happens? Nothing. Yeah, nothing. What happens? She's not there. Yeah, you left her behind 4 hours. So Berg has to get in the truck and drive back 4 hours. My mother sat at a convenience store. I don't think she even had like proper shoes or anything, and she only had the $5 or $6 for the hot dog and the Coke or whatever it was. 8 hours she sat at that convenience store waiting for that knucklehead. Watch the language now. For that knucklehead to drive back and pick her up. Like, and see, if it was me, I don't know if I would ever have told that story as a family story. Like, it should have been lost to the ages. But my mother, to her credit, she came back and let us know. I mean, we found, you know what happened? It's not like we found out about it. She called us from the convenience store. And phone rings in Buena Park. Hello? Hi, Jeffrey, I'm stuck in Arkansas. You are? Where's Berg? He drove off. I don't know. Oh my God, Mom, are you okay? Well, the highway patrol's here. They're going to try to find him. Well, just tell him to follow the dirt like Pigpen. Now, you'll watch your mouth saying that about me. I'm warning you one more time. I'm going to come over there. Well, you're going to come over and what? You'll make fun of me one more time. I'm going to find out. You're going to find out what I'm going to do to you. But you don't, Don, you don't even really exist at this point. You're just a voice on a show. Don't call me just a voice. Don, you're just a figment of my imagination. You're just a who knows how embellished memory of all the nonsense I went through growing up. And you sitting here today is just part of my healing process to get over you. And I moved on years ago. You know, I never was going to let you have any sway over my life. Well, if you listen to what I told you, you'd be in a better place. Well, I'm in a pretty good place. I got a loving family. I got a good job. All the things that you said were going to happen to me, I never smoked or did drugs. Well, you know what? You got nothing to say, do you? I'm running out of things to say to you. Well, that's good. That's good, because what's going to happen is I'm going to hook up with my brother and sister again and probably hear a bunch more stories about you. Because I'm sure there are more stories to tell that I have just blocked out. But boy, you leaving Mom behind for 8 hours at that convenience store, that's freaking hysterical. That's a movie. Oh, about the movie. Oh, Don. Oh, Berg. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. More stories from this awful American life. There you go, man. Hey, I want to thank my special guest, Don Berg, for stopping by today. Oh, yeah, no, thanks. What are you doing, Don? Where are you headed after here? Well, I gotta go. There's a Radio Shack going out of business. Yeah, all the Radio Shacks went out of business. Yeah, I gotta go pick up all the stuff from the walls. The stuff from the walls. Yeah, all the stuff. They're giving it to me. So you're taking all the Radio Shack stuff. Oh, yeah. What are you gonna, like, what do you need? Like, Radio Shack couldn't make it work. I'm just gonna put an Elsinore on my stuff. I don't like Elsinore. So you're just taking it with no rhyme or reason or thought to what you're gonna do with it. Well, I'm gonna open a business. You're like 80. What business are you gonna open? I don't know. I'm gonna take it to Lake Elsinore and put it right next to all the stuff I got out of Blockbuster. So you got all the Blockbuster stuff too, huh? Oh, yeah. I got the Blockbuster stuff, Hollywood Video, Radio Soccer. If it goes out of business, I find a way to take care of it. Well, you know, Don, you're a testament to the American spirit. Oh, thanks. I try to live my life and inspire people. Oh, you inspire people. When I say you're a testament to the American spirit, you're a testament to the fact that there's nothing awful that the American people won't do to themselves that you won't do to yourself. Well, no, that's not. Well, what does that mean? Well, I think you know what it means. And you inspire a lot of people. You inspire a lot of people to not be like you. Because you're a terrible person. Now, listen, you little punk, I'm not going to come over here and be on your show. and have you insult me like that? Well, listen, I didn't mean to insult you, but I'm out of Volkswagens. What? Well, I had all these Volkswagens. They were all piled up, and I don't know what to do with them now. I mean, I've got like 5. Well, I don't understand what. Everybody, Don Berg, there he goes. I want to thank Don Berg for showing up on the show. It's always nice to have a guest. We tried to get 1 or 2 of the drunks, but they're all dead. So we will continue on without them. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble about my childhood. God knows how I managed to make it to today after all of this craziness. I am the voice. I am Jeff Tucker. We'll see you at Scare LA. We cannot wait. We're also in talks to appear at HorrorCon coming up later, but Scare LA is going to be just a couple of weeks from now. So check Scare LA at scarela.com. Use offer code Winona. Check us out on Facebook. Check out our Patreon page. Give us a review on iTunes. Don, you want to help me out with this? I mean, you haven't left yet. Well, I can't find the door. Well, yeah, I'll help you. He's losing his mind, folks. Okay, I'll help you. I'll come back. Come back, Don. Come here. We don't have to fight. We can be friends. The imaginary Don Berg that you are, can be friends with me. You can appear on the show whenever you want. Oh, okay, that's great. And what is the name of the show, Don? Oh, yeah, 91 Reasons.
Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy. They wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern-day Robin Hood.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
I got him. This time I really got him with both hands in the cookie jar. Oh, I love it. I love it.